Good morning. Hello, I'm Boris. Today I'm gonna explain to you guys the beginnings of a painting in the Renaissance style of the old masters. In this case, I'm copying this Leonardo John the Baptist. Okay, this is my reference. The first thing you do, okay, without further ado, let's go straight to the explanation. Okay, now listen. The first step, and I'm doing this video because a lot of people have asked me what is the technique of the old masters, how the old masters achieved paintings like this, John the Baptist, or paintings like this. This is a copy of a Titian. It's called Diane and Calixto. Okay, look at that. And just a little review definition of the old masters technique. What does it mean? It means that your paintings are not going to be flat. The old masters paintings have volume. You can almost touch the god Mars here because it's so lifelike, you know. Look at the water. This is a copy. Well, it's based on Rubens, but I did a self-portrait history of my life here based on Rubens, the foundation of Rome. All right, but anyway, the old masters technique end up with, look at the cherries. You almost feel like you can grab them, you know, with your fingers. Look at the baby. Look at the birds. So that's the old masters technique. In other words, you do not end up with a flat, and I'm going to show you what I mean by a flat painting. This is one of the paintings of one of my students. It's a child, of course, but this is a flat painting. You see, it's cartoonish. If you want to obtain paintings like that where you feel that, look at the couple here, Mars and the mother of Romulus and Remus. They're in a reed patch. You can feel that you can grab the reeds. You see here? They have volume. These are extreme close-ups. These are all the old masters. Speaking of the old masters, I made this composition of all my favorite masters. You have Titianus with their signatures. That's how they sign their work, Titianus. These are all portraits. I put them together. This is Jacobus Tintorettus. This is Paul Veronensis. These are their signatures. The great Michelangelo, look how he used to sign. Michelangelo. And the famous Leonardo Davinci. And the Prince of Painters, Raphael of Urbinus. These are all self-portraits that they themselves paint. I just put them together, I just copy them together in this composition by Tintorettus. Actually by Titianus, I'm sorry. Titianus made this kind of six-figure composition of his family. It's a very famous painting, but I use that style to pay homage to my favorite painters of all times. These are my favorite painters of all times. These are the early Renaissance painters. These are the late Renaissance painters. Okay, these are the masters. Look at the technique. You can feel that he's looking at you straight. Again, those are self-portraits that they themselves painted looking at the mirrors. That's why all of them, well, except Titianus and and Michelangelo, but all four are looking at mirrors. They're painting themselves in mirrors. But anyway, I have Delacroix here. Okay, my house is like a museum, full of paintings. There behind the TV is an Annunciation. This is a portrait of my mother in the style of the Mona Lisa. But going back to the old masters, okay, I'm revealing these secrets today because there's a lot of curiosity how the painters of the Renaissance painted their works. What is the technique? All right, step number one. Once you have, and let me show you here, once you have chosen a good piece of wood, in this case, look, poplar. This is poplar. This is the backside of the wood panel. Look, it's about ½ an inch thick. The first step is to sand it very smoothly in the face that you're gonna be painting on. You sand it very smoothly, all right? And then you end up with this beautiful finish, all right? And then you prime it. It's called imprimatura, but pretty much means priming, okay? And then you prime your panel. You prime it with white gesso, okay? You can give it as many coats as you want. You can give it minimum of 3. I usually do 3 to 5 coats. All right, very thin coats. Don't go too crazy, you know. And after you have your 5 coats, you sand it a little bit. It's very softly. Don't take off the gesso that you just applied. And then the next step is with red. Okay, this is the red I use. I'm giving away my secrets, people. With cadmium red, deep hue right here. Okay, you paint the surface. The masters of the Renaissance, the old masters, never, ever, and repeat, ever painted on white board. And oh, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, guys, I never paint, well, seldom I paint in, you see this is wood. I wanted to show that it's wood. All right. I paint in wood panels because it gives me a hard, soft surface, okay? Unfortunately, canvas, look, I have all my wood panels waiting to be painted on. They're ready right there, okay? But I always paint in wood because, again, canvas has, regardless of how well you prepare the canvas always has that rough surface. You cannot achieve this kind of smoothness. You see how smooth the skin is? Well, there's a lot of brightness, but look how smooth. Look at the face. The canvas doesn't get in your way, okay? Doesn't get in your way, lets you work better. But anyway, going back to the old masters, they never painted on a white canvas. If you see somebody painting on white, you already know they're wrong. They're trying to imitate the old masters, and I will tell you why. I'm going to skip a few steps right here. You see how I'm going to apply this white. I'm going to start building up the image with the white tempera. If I'm starting from a white panel, that's impossible to do. Build up an image like this from a white panel. Anyway, and I will tell you why the old masters, you see that reddish brownish tones. Yeah, I mean, you can probably not see there you go, you see them, reddish. That's the reflection of the light coming all the way from the back of this red bowl. It's called red bowl. Okay, so that's the background, the first coat of paint when you're starting the process. Please apply a red cadmium deep hue, kind of like a dark red, because our skin has blood in it. The skin has blood. The skin, look here, right here. You see that reddish hue, the reddish tone in my fingers? That is the red of my blood going through my white skin. Now, in order to achieve that, this reddish hue, you need the help of the red bowl. And you can see what I just showed you at the window. Look at this. I'm starting to paint the hand here. But you see how the red hue of the red bowl in the background is already helping me to give this finger a realistic look. You see? So that is the reason why you start with a red bowl. This is a lost technique of the great masters. They always started with a red bowl background to start building up the image with tempera, with white tempera. I use 2 tones of white. I will show you that. I will show you which tones I use to build up. And even here, look, you see this dark in the arm? It's gonna be achieved playing with the red bowl that I already have as a background, plus the different thickness of white. You see how I'm transitioning from red to little very transparent white to very thick white to build up the muscles, you know, the volume of the arm. Anyway, without here I'm building up the muscles of the side of the body, the torso. Here's the trapezius muscle. This is the biceps, the deltoids. You see the clavicles here, 1 clavicle, 2 clavicles, the pectoralis. Always go back to your anatomy, fellas. It's gonna help you understand why there is a white area here. Those are the clavicles meeting together in the center, the biceps, the deltoids, you know, the trapezius muscles, you see? Okay? But anyway, going back to the steps. White gesso, 3 to 5 coats, sand it a little bit, and apply a red bowl. After that, I don't know if you can notice, since I'm copying Da Vinci's John the Baptist here, what I did was I prepared my reference, and since I have so much experience, I don't really need more than 4 quadrants, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 with a cross to place the elements on my board. These are elements. The head is an element, the hand, the shoulder. Okay, so those are elements. Here you can also look. This board is 1 inch wider than the original board that Da Vinci painted on. What I did was, because I want to keep everything proportionate, I subtract 1/2 inch from the left, 1/2 inch from the right, and what you see inside of that little frame is the exact measurements of the board Leonardo da Vinci used to paint his John the Baptist. Okay, so this is an exact size. This is the exact size of the original painting. Now, once I have my quadrant, I position my head based on my reference that the head is going to be here, no? And just out of experience, I know how to position and the size of this element, which is the head. Okay, so just out of experience, this is what I do. And then I see how the line of the shoulder comes down and crosses about halfway that line of reference. That's what I do. From here to here, halfway there, I made the line of the shoulder cross. That's another point of reference. And then I continue the curvature of the body. The same thing with the hand. Once I have the head, I have the hair, and I use the head to reference and position my hand based on the reference. You see how the tip of the finger is almost at the level of the top of the forehead. So this is what I do. This is the top of the forehead, so the tip of my finger is about the same level, right? Anyway, that's what I was trying to explain to you, is how I'm drawing. Now look at the drawing. It doesn't have to be finicky at all. This charcoal drawing on the board is very basic. It just indicates, well, right now you can't see the actual drawing, but the rest of the body look like that, very very rough, you know. Just even here, this is a pentimento. I don't know if you ever heard that word, pentimento. I thought that the hair came all the way this wide, but then at closer inspection, I realized that the hair was a little more tucked in, you know, towards the head. So this is a pentimento. So this is not going to be taken into account. It's going to disappear in the black background, and this is going to be the actual highlight of the top of the hair. All right, but anyway, don't be too finicky with your drawing, because everything is going to be covered in paint anyway. The only thing you need to do is just give it just indicate a position of your elements. And in this case, side note, let me tell you guys, this Davinci is very simple. It's a one person composition, okay? So you really don't need much drawing or anything. And on top of that, there's no background. It's been debated whether Davinci gave it a background, and I thought I was gonna add, maybe I thought that Davinci would never leave I don't know, a figure like that without a background. And since he's John the Baptist, he was supposed to be a wild man that lived in the woods, you know, didn't have a home. In here you can see that he's wearing pelts, you know, animal skin, you know, probably wolves or something. But anyway, the point was, I'm sorry, I was distracted. Anyway, in this composition, you don't need to be finicky. You need to draw a lot. This is a pretty basic. Literally, it took me probably 15 minutes to draw it, to position the elements. And right now, I'm moving on in the process of painting. After I have my drawing, okay, I start building up the body of the image. All right, even right now, I don't know, this is literally 10 minutes into the painting. I'm painting the grisile, and you already can tell, I don't know if you already can tell that this John the Baptist is starting to have volume. You can start seeing the 3D of the image. All right, without, I mean, I'm gonna be working on this for several days or weeks maybe, but with 10 minutes of the old master's technique, you already have volume. Look at the arm, and literally this is very basic. This is just the first brush strokes. Look at the hand, it's already there, you know. So my point is that, and that is another thing I'm gonna make a video about Davinci. and the old masters, and the idea that, let me turn the, so I'm gonna make another video in the future discussing the famous, I think it's a misnomer, that the painters, the old masters, took years to paint their masterpieces. I'm gonna give you a heads up right now, that is not true, fellas. It's not true. And I'm gonna demonstrate here with this. It is said that Da Vinci painted this John the Baptist in about 3 to 4 years. And let me tell you guys, that is definitely a misnomer, it's a misconception. There is no way anybody can keep on painting and painting and painting. A different thing is, if you want to believe that, probably this seems to be, is believed to be the last painting of Leonardo da Vinci, painted about 1517 to 1519. Okay, at the beginning of the 16th century. It is believed that this was the last painting of Leonardo. All right. Now, why a man of about 60 years old, 60, 65 years old, a great master, after painting his entire life, after dominating the techniques of painting and other sciences, why he's gonna take 3 to 4 years to paint some composition so simple as this? And I don't want to be cocky or nothing, but if I'm gonna put the hours together, the actual work hours, not days or weeks, the actual work hours, I don't think I'm gonna spend more than, in this painting, to be completely honest, more than 15-20 hours total, from beginning to end, to the last coat of varnish. I don't think, and you will see that my painting is going to be exactly the same as Da Vinci. It's going to be an exact copy. So that belief, just please stop thinking that the masters took years to paint. All right. And the other thing is, in pieces like this John the Baptist, yes, it was his piece, it was his design. It wasn't a commission. Nobody asked him to paint that. Nobody paid him money to paint that John the Baptist. It was a devotional painting. That means that he was old. He started to connect with God. He saw his own death approaching, so he wanted to connect. It's like the Pietà of Michelangelo. His last piece was also a Pietà, where he's portraying himself either as Jesus, or as San John. I don't know if you remember that piece. It was left unfinished. People think it was left unfinished. Other people think that Michelangelo just left it like that. That was his style at the end of his life. Very fast work, But anyway, when people approaches their death, when they're getting very old, they start connecting with religion, with God. So people believe that after the life that Da Vinci lived, we all know what kind of life he lived. At the end of his days, he started to connect with God again as a devotional, kind of like ingratiating himself in the eyes of God. Painting a John the Baptist, showing that the truth is above us, is in God, in heaven. That's why he even put a cross, a reed cross. A reed cross in the hands of John the Baptist. But anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm gonna be making updates. People ask me about these techniques. Probably I'm gonna do a similar video in another language here. but this is the technique, okay? And just to close the video, so recapping: prepare the board with gesso, several layers, 3 to 5 minimum. You can apply more if you want. Sand it a little bit, apply the red ball, transfer your drawing, okay? Make your elements. Don't be too finicky with your drawing. Just show where, even here, look, just this indicates that this is dark, okay? For me, it's a little, look at the fur. I just indicated the major folds, nothing too finicky, all right? And then you start building up your elements. In this case, the body, of John the Baptist. Now, how you build this up? You start applying white in the lit areas. The light. You gotta decide where is your light coming from. In this case, the light is coming from where I am right now, here, where my finger is. So the light is coming this way, from above and going towards John the Baptist. So the background is going to be black because the light is coming down, all right? And the top areas of his body are going to be very well lit, whereas the bottom parts are dark, let alone this area where the arm is blocking the light from hitting this area of the ribs. This is going to be dark. This is going to be a little light because you're still catching light from above. The shoulders are going to be brighter. Here, the area of the upper chest, the clavicles are going to be lighter, right? And here, the neck, the front of the neck is going to catch the light, but the back is going to be dark, all right? The same thing with the fur. Just the top parts are going to catch the lights. That's where you want to start building up your grisaille, okay? In this case, because the background is going to be black, like that, there's absolutely no need to put any elements. Actually, if you start putting anything white here, even if it's going to be covered with black, it's going to be distracting because Da Vinci didn't want that. If Da Vinci had wanted, and I've seen the x-rays of this painting, looking for evidence that there was a background at one point, and the x-rays show absolutely no white is building up here. That means, like, if for example Da Vinci wanted some trees here, he would have used white first, to make a white tree and then apply the color later. The other thing, before I let you guys go, the color is the last thought in the mind. Do not think of color. Do not. You're gonna end up with a grisaille that looks exactly like this right before we start thinking about color. This is a great look. Even the hair is gonna be like that, okay? Once you have a grisaille that looks like this, then we're gonna start thinking about layers of color. We're gonna layer color with oils, okay? But right now, don't think about color. Color is the last thought of the mind. All right, build up your grisaille with white, and you gotta apply layer upon layer. For example, here I didn't put any layer of white. I put a watered down white here, one coat, and then start building up. Probably have 3 passes here, and I'll show you how. Okay, on camera. It's the first time this has been seen, so remember what I told you. All right. This is, look. I just apply another layer, and another layer here. Okay. I have my colors here, but I'm using just these whites. And here again, I'm building up this. I'm working on this. I just noticed something there that I need to add to my version, which is this John the Baptist, and because he's twisting, he's showing more musculature than I thought I was gonna need. And I keep building up, you know, I keep building up my whites, my volume. Look, it's more slowly, carefully. Look, I don't get too close to the top anymore, because that's gonna fall. Because the arm is round. That part is gonna be in the back of this part where I'm painting right now. Okay. This has never been shown before. Please share this video. Okay. And here I go. These colors dry very fast. They're already dried, and also the wood, you know, sucks up a lot of the solvent. So right now it's dry. You see, that's why you gotta be careful with this technique. You cannot really spend too much time. Now listen, look at this. Is very important, huh? I wanna continue building up. This is how you build up the volume of your paintings. You see here, layer upon layer upon layer. You see, all the masters of the Renaissance use their fingers as another painting tool. But anyway, look, do you see the difference? How it's starting to have volume. Okay, you see this, and I'm starting to insinuate. Look, never be afraid to use your fingers. Actually, I want to say that 30% of the paintings are made by the fingers. Right now I'm kind of working a little fast. I want to show you these steps. Now listen how I'm not applying the white paint too finicky either. I'm just building up. Building up is like like imagine a 3D printer. That is the best example I can give you guys. Okay, imagine a 3D printer where every pass of the nozzle deposits certain amount of the building up substance for the substance that dries out real fast and starts. This is beautiful, and this is also the fingers can be used to take off. I made a mistake right now. I painted white there. I remove it immediately with my finger. But anyway, look, and here I'm gonna start giving it a little more of volume, the musculature underneath the skin. I'm thinking anatomy right now here, guys. What goes under the skin in this area, you see? And here I have an eye on the original, but at the same time I'm not losing track of my own painting. You see, this is the bone of the humerus in the joint with the radius and the ulna. Okay, right there. But anyway, I don't want to take too much of your time, fellows, and please share this video. Again, this is the old master's technique, and I'll make follow-up videos of the next steps. Okay, anyway, it's been a pleasure. Please share this video. There's a lot of people that don't know how to paint, and this is the best way to teach. Okay, this is the best I can do today. Thank you very much. Look how beautiful it's starting to look. You see how how you build up volume, you know. But anyway, leave your comments. You have any questions, specific questions I can answer. I'm sharing my secrets, what I learned over decades, not only in school, but in theory and practice, doing my own research. There's not much in the internet about the old masters technique. Everybody thinks that they know, but no, this is based on decades of knowledge. Please share the video, leave your comments below, and thank you very much. Peace.